So you want to get some bees, what do you do now? Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Tim, the Boone County Beekeeper. So you want to be a beekeeper? That's good. That's a big decision that you've made there. So that's great. You know, the world, we need more beekeepers for sure. But before you decide that you want to be a beekeeper, I really think that maybe there's a few questions that you want to ask yourself. The first question is, do I have time for bees? You know, bees take a lot of time. Bees, you don't just go out and get them and throw them in a box and then there they are. It don't work that way. You know, I know people that really thinks that that's the way that it happens, but it doesn't, because if you're not going to get in your bees and take care of them and treat them and feed them and check and make sure they don't have swarm cells and make sure your queen's laying and everything's good, you need to do that every week. If you don't do that, they're going to get out of there. They're going to swarm. Or they're going to die, or just going to up and leave, you know. So I've known that to happen to a lot of people. So yeah, it is a commitment. It's no different than having a dog or a cat. You know, I see people get a dog and they bring it home and tie it up on a 5-foot chain, and that poor dog, that's what he's got his whole life, is on that chain. I hate to see that, and you know, a bee really is the same way. You know, we go out in the woods and we get these bees and we bring them back, we put them in a box. We owe it to them to take care of them. You know, there's things we got to do. So you need to really think about that before you get them. Am I going to have time for bees? Once a week for sure, from April to my area, probably to like the end of July. You need to get in there once a week. And sometimes, you know, there's bee work to do several evenings a week. After the honey comes off, you know, you can spread it out a little bit every couple of weeks, but it's a commitment. It is. It's question number 2. Do I have a good place to keep bees? That's a big question. You know, I told you last video, I live here in a subdivision, and I've got houses all around except for behind me. And I got a good place for these bees to fly. But now, what I did do is I went and I talked to my neighbors, the immediate ones right here, and I asked their feelings about, you know, these bees, if it was really going to bother them or not. And I want to make sure, one thing, nobody was allergic. I mean, you know, some bad things could happen if something was to happen, if they would sting somebody that was allergic. You know, they could die. It's bad. So you got to be sure of that. Make sure your neighbors is okay with it. That's another thing. So if you're good on that, you probably say, yeah, you could get some bees. But then what you got to think about is this. What kind of method am I going to do? I mean, what I mean by that, you know, there's a lot of different ways to keep bees. A lot of people keep them in double deeps. Some people like to do the single brood chamber. I've seen people do it in nuke boxes. And the thing that seems to be getting popular now, and actually it's funny that I talk about this, I've never seen one, but I built one. I've seen it online. I don't know if anybody around here just has one, and that's the long hive. And I actually built one, and I'll put a picture up here of it. And I actually delivered it to my other bee yard today. Today is March the 19th. And trying to get that yard set up and get it ready. But I'm anxious to see what happens with that long hive. And I will say this before I go any further. I'm going to do this video session on this Langstroth hive for the summer. But in the meantime, I'm also, when I do my weekly inspections on this long hive, I'm going to go ahead and film that as well. And my plan is to release that in the winter time, so that way we'll have something to watch until the next bee season. But anyway, you got to decide what you want to do. What kind of method works for you. Myself, I like the single brood chamber method, but you saw, on the last video, I've got a medium sitting on top. It was full of honey, and I might say my bees made it through the winter. There've been a lot of people around here that's had a lot of losses, and I've been very fortunate. We had a crazy winter. We did. My last video was October. It's now March. Been a lot of things happen, and I'll get into that also in just a minute. But November, December, crazy warm. I mean, it was like 60-some degrees on Christmas Day. And it seems like when January hit, from January to last week, we've had 27 inches of snow off and on. It's been crazy. But it's been really cold too. But the bees, they have made it, so that's a good thing. So you just got to decide for yourself, what do you want to do? What kind of method are you going to use? And you need to come up with a plan, and you need to stick to that plan. Now, one more thing. You want to buy a few things to get started with. First thing, get you a good pair of gloves. I got these from Better Bee. I like Better Bee. These are ventilated gloves, good thick gloves. I wear my gloves. I told you that before. Another thing you want to invest in right off the bat is a good jacket. And let me stress, a good jacket, okay? Because I bought one when I first started on Amazon, and it was the cheapest one they had, and about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it just fell apart. Zipper come off, the veil, it was crazy. So you get what you pay for on this, and this is a ventilated coat, as you can see, and you probably see me through here, okay? But somebody probably says, oh, I bet that's cool. No, it's not cool, trust me. So you have several different layers there, and it is quite hot. It is hot, especially in the miserable summertime heat. But I will say this, I bought that actually on vacation. I bought that. We go to Topsail Island a lot in North Carolina. If you're ever down that way on Topsail, there is, right across the bridge, there is a little bee store there called Brawes Bee Supply. B-R-A-W-E-S. I will try to put a link to that in my description there. Check that place out. They ship too, and it's pretty. They got a pretty good little assortment. The next thing, hive tool. You got to have a good hive tool, okay? I like the J-hook. They make a million different varieties, but I like the J-hook myself. And if you're anything like me, I got this on Amazon. Buy more than one. I'm bad about laying something down, forgetting where I put it. May leave it at another location. Hey, may even have a little buddy sometimes that likes to borrow stuff. I'll not mention any names. Anyway, here's the big one, a smoker. I done the same thing that I did with the jacket. I bought me a smoker on Amazon when I first started, made in China. Should have known better right there. But what I did, I bought it, and man, it was super thin, wouldn't hold a fire. Finally, I was afraid it was going to melt down. So I went ahead and I spent a little money, a date amped smoker. Man, this thing, I love it. It's great. It really is. If you do that, you can get started, and really that's basically it. I mean, you can get started right off the bat with just what that little bit of stuff there is. You'll have to have some equipment. You have to decide what you want to do, build your own, buy. You'll need some boxes when you decide what kind of method that you want to do. You'll have to have some frames, foundation, and we're going to get into all that. We'll talk a little bit about everything as this goes along. Comb honey, I've got a lot of people asking me now about comb honey, so we might even do a little bit of that this year. Now, that's really all I have, and I want to say this. Not every video that I do is going to be sitting here talking. I mean, I know it's crazy, but it's a weird time of the year. It's just starting. Everything's starting to bloom out. It's getting really ready to be a busy time. But I wanted to say this. I told you a lot of things had happened over the winter, and it had. In the next few weeks on these swarm trap videos, I'll probably have some company on here. You'll probably see my dad with me. We lost my mom it's been less than a month ago, and it's been rough. I mean, I'm not going to kid you. It's really been tough. I am an only child. I'm very close to my parents. My wife, she's very close to my parents as well. It's been really rough, and my dad, you know, he's up there about 30 minutes away. He's alone, and just him and the cat, man. It's been tough on him. It really has. They was married almost 59 years, so it's been a big change. So he's not a beekeeper. He's an outdoorsman. Now, he is that. He loves to hunt and fish and garden and all that. Now, his dad was a beekeeper, and so was his brother, my uncle. So last year when we caught these swarms, he was right there with me on all of them. We'd go check the traps, and we'd go out of the night and get the traps and deliver them back to here, and he really enjoyed that. So you probably see him in some of these videos coming up, and I just want to get him out and just keep him busy, you know, and try to get his mind off things. But really, that's about all I had this week. I'm gonna try to, on my next video, we're gonna start getting busy now. It's getting that time. We'll talk a little bit about our swarm traps. I'm gonna show you not exactly how I build them, but I'm gonna show you some various stages that I'm building some now. And you know, there's nothing fancy to a swarm trap. If you can build a box, you can build a swarm trap. But there's some certain dimensions and things that you really need to stick with. And we'll go through all that. And I want to actually go ahead and hang a couple. I know it's a little early, but for the sake of this video, and we'll let the scout bees come out, and we can get them on film as well in the weeks to come. So we'll do that, and I'll show you how I hang them, how I bait them, you know, I use Swarm Commander. We've got some little tips and tricks that we'll try, and I'll show you places that I like to hang them. So join us. This will be fun, and we won't be here talking all the time. So really, that's about all that I have for today, and I would just say thank you, you know, for being here. And if you like what you see, give me a like, and if you don't care, hit the subscribe button. You know that is what gets this video out to the world, and the more people that sees it and likes it and subscribes, the more people that we can reach. And that's all that we want to do, is just try to help somebody. You know, somebody out there is probably wanting to be a beekeeper, and they don't know, you know, what to do. And I'll be honest, I'm not any expert, so we'll learn together, you know. So it's going to be fun. So until next time, God bless you. Hope you have a good week. Hope everything goes good with you and your family. Just stay safe. This is Tim, the Boone County Beekeeper. See you next time.